वन्दे गुरुपदद्वन्द्वम् अवाङ्मनसगोचरम् रक्तशुक्लप्रभामिश्रम् अतर्क्यम् त्रैपुरम् अहः विशुद्धिज्ञानदेहाय त्रिवेदी दिव्यचक्षुषे श्रेयः प्राप्तिनिमित्ताय नमः सोमार्धधारिणे नमो यामिनीनाथरेखालङ्कृत कुन्तलाम् भवानीं भवसन्तापनिर्वापण सुधानदीम्
Mandirarchanam. Tataha Mandiradhyarchana Kramam Aha. Mandiram here refers to the place or the abode of Sri Lalita. The place where Sri Lalita is supposed to be residing is called as Sri Nagara. In the Sri Nagara, there are various enclosures. Before that, there is a ocean which a person has to cross, reach the shore. Then there are a set of certain gardens. Then there are set of enclosing walls. And after we cross over those walls, we reach the main house or the main abode of Sri Lalita, which is called as Chintamani Griha. In the Chintamani Griha, she is seated in a gem-studded hall on a simhasana, and the 4 feet of the simhasana are respectively the Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra and Ishana, and Sadashiva is the plank or the palaka of the seat. On this seat we have Sri Lalita seated. So before we proceed with the other krama in the Saparya, we worship these enclosures and the various parts of the seat of Sri Lalita. So Tatra Mahachakre, in that Mahachakra, in that Sri Chakra which has already been described. So sadhaka has to do the Mandira Archana. So here generally the Archana is done by either Akshata or Pushpa. Amrita Ambodhi Nidaye. Ambodhi means ocean. Whereas the other oceans may be of water, and when we take the Puranas, we find reference to oceans of milk, Kshira, Ghrita, ghee, okay, Ikshurasa, no, sugar cane juice, etc. This Ambodhi is an ocean of nectar. So Amrita Ambodhi Nidhaye. Ratna Dvipaya. Then comes the Ratna Dvipa. Dvipa is island. It is called as Dvipa because it is filled with, or it is enclosed on both its sides, okay, with water. Dvi means 2, okay, where both the sides of the land, or where the land is locked between 2 water streams, that is Dvipa. So Ratna Dvipaya. So that Dvipa is made of Ratna, of precious gems. In that, the next Nana Vriksha Maha Udyanaya. Then there is a Maha Udyana. Udyanam means garden. The difference between the forest and the garden is that the forest is not regulated or not man-made, whereas an Udyana is a man-made. Purushakartrikam Udyana. So this is well planned. Okay. So this Mahavriksha, Nana Vriksha Maha Udyana. This Maha Udyana consists of Nana Vriksha, various kinds of trees. So next is the list of the trees. Okay. Kalpa Vriksha Vatikayai. First is the Kalpa Vriksha Vatika. The greatness of Swarga is that it has one Kalpa Vriksha, one wish-yielding tree. Whereas Shri Puram has an entire garden of Kalpa Vriksha. See, there are, when we look into it at the spiritual point of view, the entire thing has to be visualized within our Sharira. And Amrutambodhinidhi is here, the place on the Sahasrara, wherein we have the Chandra. Okay, now this Chandra is different from the Agni, Surya, and the Chandra Mandala. Now this Chandra Mandala is endowed with the Sadhakhya Kala, and it is the one which has the Amrita. Okay, so internally on Adhyatmika point of view, the entire visualization is different, but physical description is this. So every aspect here has been spiritually been interpreted also. So there is a text by name Sri Vidya Saparya Vasana. In that Sri Vidya Saparya Vasana, Parameshri Guru has given the spiritual interpretation for the various elements of the puja. What do they signify for an upasaka? And like I think I mentioned it in the previous class also, the physical description giving the hint to its spiritual or adhyatma angle, we find also in Durvasa's Sri Nagara Vimarshana. Okay, now, so the first Vatika is Kalpa Vatika, next is Santana Vriksha, then Harichandana Vatika, okay, then Mandara Vatika, then Parijata Vatika, Kadamba Vatika. So they are basically Suradruma or celestial trees. Okay, Panchayate Devataravaha, Mandara Parijatakaha, Santanaha, Kalpavrikshascha, Tumsiva Harichandanam. This is what we find in Amarkosha. So Amarkosha describes these trees as Surataravaha. The trees found in the, or these are celestial trees. All right. Then we go on to the walls or enclosures made of the Navaratmas. So starts with Pushyaraga Ratna Prakaraya. Pushyaraga, the yellow stone. Okay. Padmaraga Ratna Prakaraya. Gomedha Ratna Prakaraya. Vajra Ratna Prakaraya. Vaidurya Ratna Prakaraya. Indra Nila Ratna Prakaraya. Mukta Ratna Prakaraya. Marakata Ratna Prakaraya. Vidruma Ratna Prakaraya. So the the 9 gemstones signifying the 9 grahas. Okay, those enclosures comes next. Once we cross them, we move on to Manikya Mantapaya. One Mantapa, okay, which is made up of Manikya. Manikya is another gemstone. Sahasra Stambha Mantapaya. In that, there is a 1,000-pillared hall. Sahasra Stambha Mantapaya. Then, in that, there is one Amrita Vapika. There is another garden with Amrita Vapi. Okay, with wells filled with Amrita. Amrita Vapikai. Ananda Vapikai. Then comes the Ananda Vapika. Okay. Vimarsha Vapikai. See, all these, that is why they are all spiritual elements. Though they are physically represented as Vapi, as wells. Okay, they are all spiritual elements. Vimarsha Vapikai. Then inside, when we go, we come across Bala Atapa Udgaraya. Now, in the olden times, the kings will have a special balcony built wherein they can enjoy the rising sun. Bala Atapa. Atapa means the sunlight, which is Bala. Okay, that is the rising sun's light. So something like a place to have a sun bath. Okay, so Bala Atapa Udgaraya. Similarly, there is a Chandrika Udgaraya, another place wherein they can enjoy the moonlight. Okay, so specially designed or located in such a way wherein you can have the maximum, okay, moonlight. So Chandrika Udgaraya. Mahashringara Parighayi. Then comes the Mahashringara Parigha. Okay, Parigha or Parikha, okay, is basically a moat like structure. So Mahashringara Parigha. Mahapadma Atavyai. Then there is a huge lake which is filled with Mahapadma, huge lotuses, big lotuses, and they are so densely packed that it looks like an Atavi. Atavi means forest. Okay, basically what we are talking about here is a pond or a lake which has lots and lots of lotuses. Mahapadma Atavyai. Then we reach the Chintamani Griha Rajaya, the house of Sri Lalita, which is called as Chintamani Griha. Purvamnaya Maya Purvadvaraya. The house has 4 entrances. So the eastern entrance is the Purva Amnaya. It represents the Purva Amnaya. Oh, each of these Amnaya also stand for a Veda. Okay, Rigyaja Sama Nathanga. So Purvamnaya Maya Purvadvaraya. Uttaramnaya Maya Uttaradvaraya. Sorry, Dakshinamnaya Maya Dakshinadvaraya, the southern entrance. Paschima Amnaya Maya Paschimadvaraya, the western entrance. Uttaramnaya Maya Uttaradvaraya, the northern entrance. Ratna Pradeepa Valayaya. So there is no conceptualization of Urdhva or Anuttaramnaya here in the house. Basically, designing a house, okay, 4 entrances or 4 doorways is what is Uttara and Anuttara are basically in the Bindu itself. So there is no such conceptualization as a physical structure here. All right. Ratna Pradeepa Valayaya. Then there is a Valaya, okay, or a place where there is lamps made of gems, okay, where these lamps are lit in a circular fashion. So Ratna Pradeepa Valayaya. Manimaya Maha Simhasanaya. Then there is one Maha Simhasana, a chair or a throne, okay, which is made up of money, all the different gemstones. And in that, the Brahmamaya Ekamancha Padaya. One of the foot of this Simhasana is Brahma, representing the Srishti. Vishnumaya Ekamancha Padaya. The second foot is Mahavishnu, Sthiti. Rudramaya Ekamancha Padaya. The third one is Rudra, signifying Samhara. Ishwaramaya Ekamancha Padaya. The fourth is Ishwara, signifying Tirodhana. Sadashivamaya Eka Mancha Phalakaya. The plank, okay, on the 4 feet is Sadashiva himself. That is why we see the images of Lalita Tripura Sundari being seated on Sadashiva. All right, and the 4 footstools will also be represented. So Sadashivamaya Ekamancha Padaya. So Anugraha. Hamsatula Talpaya. Talpa means that cushion which is laid down on the thing. So it is Hamsatula. Hamsatula is basically a soft feather. Okay, So it is stuffed with a soft feather. So that is Hamsatula. So Hamsatula Talpaya. Then Hamsatula Maha Upadhanaya. Upadhana means the side pillows or the side rests. Okay, that is also stuffed with the Hamsatula. Kausumbha Astaranaya. Kausumbha is basically that pinkish color. So there is one Astarana. Astarana means bedspread kind of thing, which is Kausumbha Astarana. Maha Vitanakaya. Vitana means canopy. Okay, on the top. So that is Mahavitana. Then there is one Yavanika. Yavanika means a screen. Maha Yavanikayai. So iti chatuschatvarimshat mantraihi. So all these have to be treated as a mantra, and chatuschatvarimshat mantraihi, with these 44 mantras, akhilam bhavayitva archayitva. The sadhaka has to imagine all these in his own puja graha and perform the archana. So bhavayitva archayitva. So bhavana is important. So he has to contemplate once that he is worshipping first the Amritambodhi, then the Ratna Deepa, he is going in. So it's like an inward movement of the sadhaka. So he has to do that bhavana while performing the archana. So iti bhavayitva archayitva. Gandha pushpa akshatadimscha daksha bhage deepan abhitaha dattva Moolena chakram abhyarchya Moola trikhandaihi prathama trasre. Then you offer the Gandha, Pushpa, Akshata, etc. Okay? When we say etc., the other upacharas as deemed necessary. So Gandhadi, then there are 2 lamps that has to be lit on either side of the puja graha or inside the puja graha on either side of the chakra. So on the daksha bhage, okay, deepan abhitaha dattva. Abhitaha means on both sides. Abhitaha dattva. So there is a slight clarity we should have what is being spoken here. Gandha pushpa akshadandimscha daksha bhage deepan abhitaha dattva. This daksha bhage is not for deepa, because deepa has been very clearly been mentioned as abhitaha, means on both sides. So this daksha bhage means devyaha daksha bhage gandha pushpa akshata etc. So for the upachara of Devi, this gandha pushpa akshata has to be placed on her right hand side. So there should be a cup filled with gandha, akshata, pushpa, etc. to be placed on the right side of the chakra. Then we light 2 lamps. Okay. Deepan abhitaha tattva. It is not mentioned here as to how the deepa should be, but the practice is that the one deepa will be lit with red color wick, and we use the taila, okay, the sesame oil to light that lamp, and the other light will be lit with the white wick, which will be filled with ghrita or the pure cow ghee. It is not a restriction that only 2 lamps has to be lit there. That is why Sutrakara is very clear. Says Deepan. He is not saying Deepau. He is not restricting you with 2 lamps. Deepan. But one thing as per Sampradaya is, if there are 2 lamps on the right, there should be 2 on the left also. So Sama. There should be a balance. So if it is 1, then it should be 2 on either side. If it is 2 on right, then there should be 2 on the left. So like that. So Deepan Abhitaha. On both sides, the lamps have to be placed. And in the Krama, we have something called a Sakshi Deepa also, in addition to these Deepa. So after performing the Deepa Devi Archana, Okay. We also have a Sakshi Deepa, which we generally use for lighting, no, the agarbatti or the ekarti and other things. Okay, so that is the Sakshi Deepa. There is no restriction as to how many lamps have to be lit. Only that, according to the Sampradaya, there should be one ghee and one oil lamp with the respective colored wicks. What is the significance of uh, of Grita and Taila? See, Grita is basically an animal product, and Taila is an plant produce. Okay, extract from the seeds of the sesame. Okay, so it represents the both the sides of the flora as well as the fauna. Okay, that is one aspect of the Deepa. Okay, the other aspect of Deepa we will see later on. Okay, based on this, Anna has explained it in one of his uh, writings. Okay, by interpreting the term Grita and Taila and getting the Katapayadi Sankhya and what these signify. So actually it will be 64 and 36. Okay, when we do the Katapayadi for Grita and Taila. So what is the 36 and what is the 64? Okay, we will discuss it at an appropriate point of time later. Anyway, here it means that we have to light the lamp on either side of the Chakra Raja. Then the next step involved here is Moolena Chakram Abhyarchya. Moola Trikhandaihi Prathama Trasre. So we do an archana, okay, with the Moola mantra in the innermost triangle, Prathama Trasre, the innermost triangle. And for doing this, we split the mantra, the Panchadasha Akshari mantra or Mahashodashi mantra as it is, as the case may be so, into three sections: the Vagbhava, the Kamaraja, and the Shakti Kuta. So, in the uh, in the in the tip facing in the triangle, the tip facing, then the right, and then to the left hand side. The right and left, when I'm saying it is to the right and the left of the sadhaka himself. So we do the archana using the Vagbhava Kuta in the front, with the Kamaraja Kuta on the right, and with the Shakti Kuta to the left. And in the center, that is the Bindu itself, we perform the Samashti Archana, that is the Archana using the entire Moola Mantra. So this Archana is very, very important. This is for us to understand the various, because later on when we move on to that particular Avarana, that is the 8th Avarana, we will see who are all the Devatas and what those Devatas actually stand for. So this is for us to have a complete gist or complete an idea that this entire Saparya is to lead us to that particular understanding of the Ekatmata Bhava with those Devatas. Maha-Kameshwari, Maha-Bhagamalini, and Maha-Vajreshwari. Okay, the order is Kameshwari, Vajreshwari, and Bhagamalini. Okay, in the middle it will be Maha-Tripurasundari herself, the Bindu. So with the Moola, we do this Trikanda Archana. Okay, and then in the Bindu with the Samashti Moola. So Moolena Chakram Abhyarchya Moola Trikandaihi Prathama Trasre. Then Bhagavan moves on. He says, Vayu Agni Salila Varna Yuk Pranayamaihi Soshanam Sandahanam Aplavanam Cha Vidhaya. This aspect or this particular step in the Saparya is called as Atma Shuddhi or Bhuta Shuddhi. It's a very important element. Here what we do is we purify, or the Upasaka purifies his Sharira and converts his Sharira into Shambhava Sharira, and then proceeds with the Saparya. Shivam Bhutva Shivam Yajet. This is the Vakya from the Agam. In order to worship Shiva, you yourself have to become Shiva. So this Abheda Bhavana is very, very important. Time and again, through the entire procedure, this Abheda Bhavana will be emphasized in many different points, many different stages. In this stage, what we have to understand is that generally, when we take up the other darshanas shows that the entire Jagat, okay, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. The world is unreal. Brahman alone is real. And when we say Jagat Mithya, the entire Karana, the entire Karya made of the Panchabhutas and other thing is also treated as Mithya. Mithya is wrong to be translated as unreal. Mithya is something that cannot be explained. But at the same time, they do not accept that the entire creation is Parashiva himself. So that is the main difference between our Tantra Paddhati and other Paddhatis. In the Tantra Paddhati, we have already seen in the previous things about the Tattva Gramas, okay, the cycle of chakras, cycle of Tattvas. The entire Vishwa is Shiva himself. So this Prapancha is not Mithya. This Prapancha is Parashiva himself, which includes this Sharira. So the Upasaka tries to understand that he is one with Parashiva. But there are certain elements which prevent him from realizing this. These obstructive elements are called as the malas. So this mala or the mala shuddhi is what is called as a bhuta shuddhi. Okay, we have to understand that this Sharira is Parashiva himself. How do we do that? Bhagavan shows us the way. He says, Vayu Agni Salila Varnayuk Pranayamehi Soshanam Sandahanam Aplavanam cha. The first step in the bhavana is that the Upasaka, he raises his with his Moola Kundalini and unites it with the Parakundalini, with his Parashiva himself. And for that, he uses the Hamsa Mantra. All this is done through pranayama. Okay? Prananam Niyamanam is what is pranayama. Regulation of the Prana Shakti. Now, Prana Shakti is realized through the breath. Prana Shakti is not the breath. Prana Shakti is realized through breath. Okay. So, through this Prana Shakti, one or through the regulation of the Prana Shakti or with the effect of regulating the Prana Shakti, the Upasaka raises his Moola Kundalini and unites it with Parashiva as the first step. Then what happens? This Panchabhautika Sharira, this Sharira, which is made up of the 5 elements, he cleanses this Sharira, which is contaminated by the malas. Okay. How does he do it? First, he uses the Agni. Before that, Vayu. With the Vayu Bija. With the Vayu Bija, he performs the soshanam. Soshanam means drying. So the wind will completely dry the body of all its moisture. So chanting the Bijakshara Yam 16 times with the pranayama, we do the bhavana of the Sharira being completely been dried off. Then with the Agni Bija Ram, we burn, okay, this Sharira or the malas in the Sharira, basically. Then with the Jala Bija or Amrita Bija Vam, okay, we do the Aplavana. Aplavana means which drenching. Now, while doing this bhavana, we have to remember when the Moola Kundalini is united with Parashiva. Basically, that is the place of the Rakta Shukla Bindu Mishrana, or that is the Guru Padaka. So, Guru Padaka is from the Guru Padaka, the Amrita Saravana takes place. So, the entire Amrita drenches this Sharira. It makes that Sharira completely free from the effects of the Mala. After this Aplavanam is done, again, it is not mentioned in the text here, but it's a procedure. So, like I said, not everything might be explicitly be mentioned in one place. So, in the Shama Krama, it is mentioned that we use the Prithvi Bija Lam, okay, and do the pranayama and create a Shambhava Sharira, a Sharira which is Shambhava, which is Shivamaya, Mangalamaya, free from the malas. So now, with the body being purified, with the bhavana that I am or my true nature is that of Parashiva, the Upasaka continues the Upasana. So to continue the Upasana, he has to come back to his Indriya Vyapara, Bahir Indriya Vyapara. That will not happen if Parashiva is united with Parashiva. That is, Jiva is united with the Parashiva. So he gets or attains back his Jiva Bhava. So again, we bring down the Moola Kundalini back to the Mooladhara Chakra. So that is the next step. So this is Bhuta Shuddhi. This Bhuta Shuddhi is very, very important, and it makes us understand the Abheda Bhavana of the Jiva and Shiva, which is the ultimate aim of the entire Upasana Prakriya. Okay. So that has been explained by Bhagavan in this particular 12th Sutra. So he says, Vayu, Agni, Salila, Varna, Yuk. Using the Varna, using the respective Varna or Bija, okay, of Vayu, which is Yam, Agni, which is Ram, Salila, which is Vam. Prithvi is not mentioned because he has mentioned it elsewhere. So Prithvi also we include Lam. Okay. Pranayamahi. Using the pranayama, using the technique of pranayama. Soshanam, drying. Sandahanam, burning. Aplavanam, drenching. Chak vidhaya. So we perform this Bhuta Shuddhi. After the Bhuta Shuddhi, Trihi Prananayamya. We perform the pranayama with the Moola mantra, okay, 3 times. So one set repeated thrice. Okay, Trihi Prananayamya. Pranayama is for the for controlling the vrittis of the mind. So pranayama ensures that the chitta vrittis are focused or they stay in one's own upasya devata. Okay, so trihi prananayamya. Vigna kara bhuta utsaranam vajra kavacha nyasascha. The next step. After that has been done, we remove the external elements that may cause disturbance to the upasaka's puja or the upasana. So that is called as Vigna Utsaranam. Vignanam Utsaranam. Utsarana means removal. Removal of the Vigna, of the obstacles. Apasarpantu te bhuta. Ye bhuta bhuvi samsthitaha. Ye bhutaha vignakartaraha. Te nashyantu shivagneya. Iti Vamapada Parshnighata Kara Aspotana Samudanchita Vaktra Tadatrayam Dattva Devi Aham Bhava Yuktaha Swasharire Vajra Kavacha Nyasajalam Vidadhita. The Vignas are at three levels: Bhauma, Divya, Antariksha. They exist at three levels: the Bhauma, the Divya, and the Antariksha. What are the Vignas? The tendencies that cause, or the tendencies that prevent the sadhaka to realize his Ekabhava or his unity with Ambal. They are Vignas. Okay, they are represented by certain elements whom we can call as bhutas. Okay, so they are the factors which disturb in the sense which cause an element of duality in the mind of the upasana. These factors which cause the element of duality are removed by this Vignotsarana. So for that, what we do, there is a mantra which is chanted. Apasarpantu te bhutaha. May those bhutas, okay, apasarpantu, go away. Ye bhutaha bhuvi samsthitaha. The bhutas which are present in the bhuvi. Bhuvi means on the earth. Ye bhutaha vignakartaraha. And these bhutas who cause vigna, who cause the obstacles. Vignam kurvanti iti vignakartaraha. So ye bhuta vignakartaraha. Te shivagneya nashyantu. May they be destroyed, okay, Shiva Agneya, by the orders of Parashiva himself. This is the mantra. Apasarpantu te bhuta, ye bhuta bhuvi samsthitaha, ye bhuta vignakartaraha, te nashyantu Shivagneya. Okay, now we have come across the term bhuta here thrice. Apasarpantu te bhuta, ye bhuta bhuvi samsthita, ye bhuta vignakartaraha, te nashyantu Shivagneya. That is why I said there are three types of obstacles identified in the Shastra. Okay, the Bhauma, that which is there on the earth, the Divya, the ones which are there in the skies, and the Antariksha, and the ones that are there in between the two. These are the three kinds of the bhutas. Okay, what are they? They are nothing but the Adhyatmika, Adhidaivika, and the Adibhautika factors, which may disturb a sadhaka. All these are by the orders of Shiva removed from the place of worship, okay, until the upasana is complete. Why is it important to remember this? See, when Shri Guru gives the Upadesha, he has already ensured, he has already opened the doors of the Pratyabhijnanam or the liberation for all of us. Yet, why is it that we are unable to recognize? See, our Paddhati, had it been like any other Dvaita Paddhatis, then for Dvaita Paddhati, there is an attainment. Like, for example, you have to attain Vaikuntha. Okay. So, attainment means you have to do certain things to attain. right? If I have to reach a particular place, then there are certain steps. Okay, first I should have money, I should earn the money, and I go and buy the tickets, then I reach the place, then I climb onto the vehicle which takes me. So there are multiple steps required, okay, for attaining something or attaining a place. But our paddhati is not, there is no question of any attainment here. It is only recognition, pratyabhijnanam. So in pratyabhijnanam, what does all these things do? What is the role of these kriya kalapas? Because if pratyabhijnana means recognition, say for example, if I am having, no, it's called as a kantachami karanyaya. I think we came across that earlier also. A person is wearing a choker. Okay, he doesn't realize that he's wearing a choker. Okay, so he's looking for it in all the places. Someone comes and says, "Hey, look, it's there on you're wearing it." So he understands that he is already having. Now this is something that our Sri Guru has already done. He has already told you that you are already having the choker with you. Then why have I not realized my true self? There is two levels of understanding. One is Bauddhika, the other is Anubhava. Bauddhika is intellectual understanding. So I know, I am convinced of all the factors, okay, of all the tarka that my shastra is giving me, and I understand that I am Shiva. But why am I not realizing that I am Shiva? For this, the reason given by the shastra is that this anubhava comes from removing the elements which are obstructing in you realizing yourself. Now, what are these elements? These are the malas, which has been, it's like a samskara which we have, which has got deposited in us over countless of janmas. Now, these samskaras have to be removed by strong and by effective and through consistent efforts. These efforts are not for realizing. These efforts are for removing the factors which is barring or which is not allowing me to realize. So for realization, I'm not doing anything. Okay, it's like, imagine a lamp which is burning and there is a glass case which is kept outside. Okay, to get the light out, I don't have to do anything. The lamp is already burning. But if the glass case is completely filled with the soot, the black soot inside, then I will have to remove that and I have to clean. And then when I place it, the complete light from the lamp comes out. No? Similarly, this mala shodhanam is what is the vigna. So these kriyas help us to remove these mala. By doing it again and again with the bhavana, slowly we will definitely come to that anubhava of our oneness with Parashiva. So this Buddha Shuddhi is, plays that role. Okay, not only Buddha Shuddhi, there are other elements in the Upasana which play this role of removal of, like there is something called Tattva Shodhanam and others. All these help us slowly, gradually remove the mala, so that at one point we realize our innate nature. So Adhyatmika, Adidevika and Adibhautika obstacles are removed through this Vigna Utsarana. For that, what we do after chanting this mantra, Vamapada Parshni Ghata. Vamapada Parshni means the side of the left foot. With that, we strike the floor 3 times. Okay? Then Kara Asphota. Then we clap the hands 3 times. Then Samudanchita Vaktra. We lift our now our face looking upwards. Talatrayam. And we do the tala. 3 times we do the trala in the hands. So each one removes the Bhauma, Divya, and the Antariksha Vignas. So Vamapada Parshnighata, Kara Aspodana, and Samudanchita Vaktra Talatraya. So mantra accompanied with Kriya. After this is done, Devi Aham Bhava Yuktaha. Once these Malatrayas are or these Vignas are removed, then what is left is my own recognition that I am Devi. So Devi Aham Iti Bhava Yuktaha. Now that Bhava becomes sthira. That Bhava becomes steady. After that, Swasharire Vajra Kavacha Nyasajalam Vidadhita. We perform the Nyasa. Nyasam is placement. Placement of the various energies on the various energy centers in the body. So this is called as Nyasa. This makes the body like a Vajra. Vajra Kavacha. Kavacha is the coat of arms. Okay, sorry, coat of mail. So just like the armor or coat of mail protects a warrior in the battlefield, similarly these Kavachas will protect the sadhaka in his upasana from these divergent views, okay, or from these these Dvaita bhavanas, and also from the other worldly affairs which will disturb in his path of upasana. So his deha becomes Vajra deha, okay, just like the diamond or an adamantine body, okay, which cannot be harmed by any external things. His Sharira becomes Vajra deha. So it is called as Vajra Panjara or Vajra Kavacha. So Vajra Kavacha Nyasa Jalam Vidadhita. Now Bhagavan is going to now describe the most important Nyasas. Okay, it's not all the Nyasas. Over and above these, there are many other Nyasas which we find scattered through the many Moola Tantras. Okay, so it is said that a person who performs Ashiti Nyasa, 80 Nyasas, he is a Uttamottama sadhana. Okay, so but all the 80 are not described here. Okay, he is going to enlist only the most important ones, which is required for the saparya. The rest one can learn from one's own Sri Guru, and you can practice those nyasas, okay, on a daily basis. And ultimate aim is to reach a state wherein we become the Ashiti Nyasa Yuga, wherein we perform the 80 nyasas regularly and make our body as Vajradeva. Okay, so we'll stop here today. Next class we will continue with the nyasas.